One of the more difficult things I can do as a trial attorney is try to communicate to a jury during a trial or an insurance adjuster during settlement that my client has suffered a traumatic brain injury. The reason why is because the symptoms of a traumatic brain injury are not always visible. If my client has suffered a broken leg, then I can show a jury or I can show an insurance adjuster an x-ray that shows the fracture or the break. Brain injury cases are different. In brain injury cases, we have to rely upon the person who has suffered the injury. We have to rely upon the family and close friends of the person to tell us the story about what the person was like before the injury happened and what that person is like now. And some people don't buy it. Some people say, I have to see hard proof of this thing. I can't rely upon witness testimony. And there are tests that exist to show a traumatic brain injury, but the promising thing is that there is a new test that was developed and has been released that I think is going to help. And that was a blood test that's now was certified by the FDA and is now being put to use. And what the blood test does is it shows two elevated proteins in the blood system. And when those two elevated proteins exist, then doctors know that there was a traumatic brain injury and that they need to take steps to treat and care for the person along a protocol that they would normally use for a traumatic brain injury victim. And so this is promising. The problem is that it doesn't show when something like a concussion happens, because they apparently are not able to show the elevated proteins in the bloodstream in those circumstances. So if you've suffered a concussion in a wreck or a fall or some other type of injury, unfortunately this blood test may not show the existence of a concussion, but it will show and tell the doctors that they need to treat you if it's a very traumatic brain injury. And I don't like to distinguish between the two, and I hope that science can come along and research can come along to show when a true traumatic brain injury has occurred, even if it's a concussion or if it's a very serious traumatic brain injury that's going to have life-altering effects on a client. So promising news. I invite you to read the blog post that's attached to this video. I also invite you to read the article that's linked on the bottom of the page. And if you have any questions, if you or a loved one suffered some type of brain injury and want to talk with our firm about what your rights and options are, I'd ask that you please reach out. We'd love to talk with you. Thank you.